Warning! The following audio may contain coarse language and other material that may not be suitable for a younger audience. Listener discretion is advised. Also, we may spoil anything and everything, so you have been warned.
Alright, word of warning. I have a pretty bad cough right now, so if I go into coughing fits, I will try and mute, but you might want to edit it out if it happens.
Or we can just play it off and just be like, whoa, oh
Alan's
man.
dying.
Dying!
Alan's dead. No!
Alan's dying to record a podcast.
Oh, shit.
So, who's actually introing?
The hell? What the hell's an intro? I don't know what I'm doing. Fuck.
Just like snap your fingers and...
The following audio may contain
Twitch.
bad puns and other material that will make you giggle like a girl.
Giggle!
Hold on a second.
Said the thing.
So apparently I have been voted as most likely to intro.
There was a ballot and everything.
It was your number one on the Watch Mojo list, Tristan.
Yeah.
Top 10 people
Mojo
to
list.
intro PodTaku.
I can't even remember how I used to intro this because I know it was different than how everybody else introed it, but all I can think of is how Garant does it. Where he's just like, hello and welcome to PodTaku. Something very interesting stuff here. My name is Garant, and with me is
Wow,
Ken.
Garnt sounds really
Hi.
weird today. Am I right,
Yeah, he
guys?
does.
Yeah, right?
Oddly white.
White.
Surprisingly
Less
Caucasian.
Asian than you.
Surprisingly frosty.
Okay, so we have Ken.
Hi, I'm Ken.
Hi, Ken.
We al-
Nice to meet you.
Some people say
We
I'm full of
also-
circles, full of anime.
We also have Connor.
Hi, I'm Connor. According to the general populace, I don't exist.
And we also have Alan.
Hi, I'm Alan.
Cool. And back by popular demand, we have Tristan. Say hi, Tristan.
I'm Tristan. It's really cold. Frosty. This gets
The ending
is
is paramount.
This gets a certified frosty. What am I doing?
Oh my god.
But yes,
This was a mistake. This was a big mistake.
surprise! I'm not
Oh
actually
my
Tristan. I've been
God.
Garnt all along.
I'm making a note here.
Oh.
Huge success.
And today on PodTaku we have returning members. We have Ken and Tristan. So welcome back, guys. Officially, even though Tristan, the viewers would have.
Tadaima!
So how's it
Banzai.
feel to be back officially, guys? Even though the viewers, Tristan, heard your voice in the last episode somewhat. But how's it feel to be back?
I don't even remember that one.
I had to.
It was like, you
one
guys
did.
put up another episode, and I was like, oh, they must have recorded another one in the last couple of weeks. And then I just turn it on, and I see my image there, and I'm like,
Wait
I
a
don't remember recording this.
minute.
Was I
I
asleep?
did
I
not
don't remember
do this at all.
I was literally listening to it.
and then like I skip along, and I hear my voice, and I'm just like, that's not me.
Did you
Surprise.
It sounds like
Just
me.
your voice just then. Did you become British recently? Like,
That's
that's
not
not
me."
me. You've been drinking too much Earl Grey by the sounds of things.
But you can never drink.
That's
too much
very
Earl Grey.
true.
No, by a turn of events, I used my audio engineering powers to create the Tristan synthesizer. So now I just press something
Press
on
a
the
button.
keyboard.
Frosty.
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 And
Frosty.
Certified. Frosty.
Frosty.
By the way, Tristan's now a Vocaloid.
I was taking your Vocaloid.
cool.
Here we go.
Sekai.
Auto-tune. Adding auto-tune to all this.
So we're an anime podcast. Let's talk about anime. And I don't think there's been any big news about anime that's just come out recently. Have there
No,
been
like
news? Like
nothing.
nothing? Like let's talk about.
Well, I think everything's kind of muted until the new season
Well,
starts.
let's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you want to get super excited for the new season.
Well, before that. Let's talk about.
There's
There's
pretty
too many big
that we need
things.
to cover
One
right
that
now.
was just announced a few hours ago, and that's about Studio Manglobe. So.
Oh, right.
We're gonna let's bring things down on the downer. So for those of you who don't know, Studio Manglobe have apparently are bankrupt now. Even though it's not been officially announced, a lot of their staff have tweeted on social media that they are without a job now, and that Studio Manglobe have been bankrupt. This is following their latest release of Gangster,
Which did not do as well as everyone thought it would.
Which really did not do it, and wasn't as good as everyone thought it was.
It wasn't bad. Like, I haven't watched past, I think, episode 5 or 6. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like, oh my god, you guys gotta watch this.
From even watching the parts of the animation, you could already tell that they had a pretty low budget. So, what do you guys think of this news that we might be losing one of the most, recognizable studios to come out in the past decade or so?
Well, I'm fairly depressed about it personally, because like Manglobe was never one of those things that had like something out every season or every other season, but it's like they always had something every couple of years, and it was usually good. So it is kind of depressing that we're losing that, and I hope it doesn't become a trend.
Yeah, I mean, Manglobe have never been one of the like highest tier studios, but they're one that's like been a fan favorite for certain people because they've got a few things that like certain people really do latch onto, and they're one of the lower level studios that kind of have these huge peaks in popularity for little things that they do, and I guess it just sort of terrifies me that other smaller studios, or comparatively small studios compared to the big ones, are going to end up like going the same way in the current landscape.
Exactly. I mean, it's hard to think that, this studio starts off by creating
Wrong one.
Long run. By creating Samurai Bebop. See you later, Samurai Cowboy. But
Slice.
But the studio started off with a massive peak, and I think progressively over the years, they've made some good stuff, but I don't think they've ever managed to regain the peak of how they started it. Unless I'm missing some really big
honest,
shows.
even,
I'm double checking everything because it's like I can't remember everything off.
Yeah.
Like,
top of
I
my
think
head in
the one thing
epilepsy.
that I had a connection to that comes to mind is The World God Only Knows, because they did adapt.
Yeah.
I think it's all of those seasons, right? Or at least like
Yes.
yeah.
All of the World God Only Knows, and they also did Ergo Proxy, which I liked. I know a lot of people didn't, but I really liked.
And I
Ergo Proxy's
believe
sick.
they also did some of the Hayate no Gotoku spin-off series. I'm inclined to say they're not attached to the manga
did.
at all, because a lot of people
they
were.
did the theatrical film.
They did Samurai Flamenco. They did Mitsuko to Hachi.
Yeah, right.
I think that's the biggest ones I can think of off the top of my head. But definitely their biggest was Samurai Champloo.
Yeah.
And they did Dead Man Wonderland.
right.
Oh yeah, that's
Right.
true. Yeah.
But I look back at this, and it's like they were definitely visible, but they were definitely not top tier. But like, to mirror Alan's views, it does definitely make me fear for the studios that say are not top tier but are doing good and unique stuff. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing about Manglobe, is that they were definitely unique. They weren't always pandering. And they tried to do unique stuff.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, a lot of these like smaller studios that that were in like a similar light to Manglobe, like what they do more often than not is pander, at least from my observation. So that's probably like how those people are able to stay afloat, whereas Manglobe, where they didn't pander to people and kind of just did their own thing, it's not really that surprising.
If anything, they kind of made fun of the pandering when they picked up God Only Knows and animated
Right.
that.
But I
that's
think
true.
if I look
Yeah.
at what they've done, I think World God Only Knows is the only one that's actually gained sort of immense popularity, because even looking at like Champloo and Ergo Proxy and stuff, these are shows that have like vast critical acclaim, but I'd never say they were smash hits.
No.
I couldn't say there were smash hits in Japan.
Right. It's one of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if Champloo had a much bigger following here in the West than it did over in Japan.
Dead
Oh,
Man
by a
Wonderland's
long
the same
shot.
way. I think that like in Japan, Dead Man Wonderland was almost like non-existent as far as popularity goes, but then over here it was really popular for a while.
Well,
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
because it's edgy as an isosceles triangle.
well, like that probably had something to do with the fact that it was one of the first shows to come back on the revival of Toonami, right?
Yeah, it's true. It was.
And it is edgy as fuck. I mean,
Yeah, it is edgy as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, Toonami are doing pretty well right now.
Oh yeah.
Are they airing Parasite pretty soon?
Yeah, they are.
They just finished Sword Art Online,
Of course.
season 2, so that's a thing.
Did they ever air
Surprise,
Mirai
surprise.
Nikki? Because I think that would, if we're talking about edgy as shit shows, that would do well.
I actually think they did.
I
It would
wouldn't
make
be
a lot of
surprised.
sense. It really
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
Let me check.
They just call themselves Toon Edgy.
Tune edgy.
Like, here's the edgy
I mean-
block. We've got Mirai Nikki and a Kamiga kill. Get ready
They are.
for the edge.
Aren't they airing a Kamiga Kill as well?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah, they actually. That was a
my
joke.
God.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no,
that
they
was
are.
that's
They
a
are.
thing. Yeah, your joke actually was real.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's have a look. Okay, I don't think they did Mirai Nikki. They did Kill a Kill.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And they did Sword Art, and they're doing Akamega Kill, and Parasite's coming in.
Man, this is all edgy shit.
Parasite's gonna be a hit then.
Oh yeah, for
over
sure.
here.
Parasite, I mean, it's if there was an anime that I'd say was one of the better animes of last year, I'd say that's Parasite is definitely up there. It's definitely gonna be a hit on Toonami. But
Yeah.
speaking
Oh.
of
So long as everyone enjoys the ending more than I did.
but speaking of shows that have aired on Toonami, Fooly Cooly.
Oh yeah. Oh.
See that segue there? Did you see that segue? So, who wants to talk about Fooly Cooly or announce the news?
Rebuild of Fooly Cooly 1.11.
I think Alan
You cannot
does.
Rickenbacker.
Fooly Cooly arised. It's gonna be amazing. So, for anyone who isn't aware, Fooly Cooly, Production IG have picked up the
They
license
bought the rights to
Yeah.
it, basically.
to redo whatever they want with Fooly Cooly. Whether they should or shouldn't
Right.
is a question to be seen. But what do you guys think about this acquisition that Production IG have got?
I don't understand, because Fooly Cooly is Gynax. And
Yeah.
it's not just because Gynax made it. It's when you think Gynax, this is it.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
I think, to
So-
be honest, it's probably just a case of, like, it's one of the last big money rights things that Gynax had left. Because,
Maybe.
like, a lot of it's gone to Trigger, a lot of it's gone to Kara, and Gynax are just holding on to this one IP, and it's like, what are they going to do next? Sell Gunbuster?
Wait. Did they sell like Penny and Stocking or something?
I wouldn't really say that's like a large, important IP, though.
Yeah, if you're talking about shows that.
Well, I'd say it's more important than Gunbuster.
Well, from my perspective.
I think they should sell.
Gunbuster shaped the mecha genre.
They should sell C3 Boot to someone else and make a better show out of it.
They did. It's called Our Harix Kikanji.
But no, just looking at Fooly Cooly with IG, like I don't think of anything like Fooly Cooly when I think of IG. Like
Not at all.
a lot of these studios that have been around for a while, you think of certain particular kinds of shows when you think of them. Like you think Sunrise Mech,
Yeah.
Sunrise Mech. When I think of IG, I think of Ghost in the Shell,
I think
and
of very
more
clean
of that
cut,
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mechanical things.
Yeah.
I don't
Generally
think of
mechanical,
the kind
not-
of aesthetic that Fooly Cooly brings to the table.
Yeah, not mech, but a certain part of sci-fi fantasy.
That's
that-
like Studio Trigger
is
trying
expected
to
in
adapt
IG.
Anohana or something like that. You're just like,
Mate, that'd be amazing.
we'd have an edgy as fuck member.
Oh my god.
Just Memon wearing nothing but a mankini.
and instead of like collapsing and crying while screaming his name, it's screaming Menma's name. You just like up and you're standing in front of this giant
Can you
wall.
imagine? No. The image that I have in my head is the ending scene of Anohana where they're all just screaming, "Menma, we found you," but played with before my body's dry.
Don't lose
And
your
more angrily, it's
ghost.
just like, we finally found you. Time to get our revenge for such and such.
Oh my god.
The edgy Anohana.
Oh my god!
Man.
Have you
That we
guys seen the Anohana live action that they're doing?
I've only watched half of
No,
it.
I noticed that it was on Crunchyroll, and I was considering it.
What do you think of it, Ken?
I mean, it's very drama-y. It's
Well, yeah, it would be.
yeah. I mean, it's to be expected, but I do like the visuals are actually not that bad. Like I like the
Did-
camera work.
Did they keep in the scene with the noodles and the egg? Because that was like the best scene of the series.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta ask, how are they handling Menma? Because when this was announced, my biggest issue with them doing a live action Anohana is that I could not imagine Menma being done IRL because this kind of person just does not exist in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's weird.
No matter who they get, they won't be kawaii.
Yeah.
Well,
enough.
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird because I was really thrown off by it, but I guess I was slowly warming up to it. Basically, they were all kids, and then they had their grown-up counterparts. But Menma, in her ghost state, grew up also. So she's like wearing this like childish thing, and she's acting all childish, but she looks like she's like 16.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Huh.
it's like this odd thing, but I was okay with it. you know, I mean, I granted my thresholds are like a lot more open than everyone else's. But, like,
well, I mean, I guess the point is, it's like it doesn't need to be exactly like anime Menma, so long as it fits in with what the movie's doing, because it doesn't have to be like 100% by the book adaptation.
Right.
I feel like generally live action adaptations are better when they actually take some liberties and give you something new instead of trying to just literally one for one everything we've seen already.
Has there been a live action adaptation that's been actually better than, say, the anime or manga? Because
Densho Otoko. That's like the one that comes to mind, because I mean, on Alan's recommendation,
one of the Densho mangas is really, really, really good. The one I've read as well. I'd
like,
say it's on par with the.
I mean, I have like the first volume of it, and I really liked it a lot. But there's just something about seeing real people like just partaking in it. It kind of, I don't know. It sunk in better for me, I think.
Yeah.
Live action person.
I don't know, seeing live action anime adaptations always throws me off a bit, because it's always weird just seeing real people when there should be anime characters. Has anyone seen the Attack on Titan live action?
Oh, I bought tickets for it, so I'm soon. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not quite sure what to expect about that.
I heard it sucked a lot.
Yeah, I haven't heard many good things about it.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't really think that a story of that movie would work really well, but what I would go in to see it, I'm just like, okay, well, how do they do the action scenes? How do they have people fly around? How does that look?
It's sort of it's how they nail the visual effects and stuff.
Yeah,
I hope a lot of it
if it's all very obviously like ham CG and all that, I'll be like, no.
I would really like. I think that movie would like have a lot of charm if it used a lot of practical effects, like what a lot of Japanese stuff is known for, just like people in suits and large sets like being broken. I can imagine that would just make it really enjoyable, even if like it would take away a degree of the seriousness.
I think a really cool live action movie that I saw, an adaptation, is Space Brothers. Because
really, I've heard that's pretty good.
Yeah, the thing is that it really condenses everything that you see in the anime, and I'm assuming of course the manga as well. But like visually, it's wonderful. It's not jarring, because you know a lot of the things in the manga, you know, you can see are rooted in things, or can be rooted in things that, you know, are realistic.
Yeah.
So
I think with Space Brothers generally, like there's no ridiculous character designs.
Yeah.
Everyone does look like actual human beings. So when you translate that onto
for the most part,
the live action screen, it doesn't. There's not much of a disconnect there.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd be worried about is just the length of Space Brothers, both in the anime adaptation and the manga, and trying to condense that down.
It does work.
How far does it get to?
They go to the moon. They go to the moon, and Hibito has his little thing.
I remember seeing the trailer for the live action had like a big spoiler of one of the big things that happens in space in it, and I was like, that's really far into the series. How do they get that far?
Yeah, well, here's the thing: the Space Brothers anime. I mean, it was spaced out. No pun intended. It was. I realized that as I was saying it. You know, like it's paced really well, but long. So
it's pretty slow, but I felt that worked in its favor.
It did work in its favor, but as a result, you know, in the live action, it didn't seem like, you know, they cut out a lot. It's just, if anything, it's kind of like a summary of the anime, but with things moved around here and there. Like they took some liberties.
Do you think it would be, you would enjoy it a lot less if you hadn't seen the anime originally? Do you think the stuff that got cut out, you were able to just sort of go, okay, I know that's happened, but I understand why it isn't going to take place in this film for length reasons?
Yeah, I think that, you know, independent of the anime, I think that the live action in itself is, like, really good. Like, I had a lot of fun watching it. I mean, I think it's hard not to like a character like Muta, because he's just,
because he's pro.
He is,
and he's got amazing hair.
Yeah, the fro made it over too. And I mean, the personalities carry over well too. I mean, if you like the characters in the anime, you will like the characters in the live action, like almost inherently or the same way.
And does it use the first opening of the anime?
I forgot. It's been a while. I watched it like while Space Brothers was airing, way back in the day, while I was still following Space Brothers.
That first opening is so good.
Oh, I love that first opening so much. The music in that show is wonderful. Like there are like there's a Skyma Switch ending that's brilliant.
Yeah.
The thing I want to bring up, and Japanese live action is I think hit or miss, but I don't think we've had a good. If we're talking about the ultimate goal, I would like a good Western film adaptation of something.
Oh, you mean like Ghost in the Shell?
Death Note.
Or Evangelion.
I don't think Evangelion will be done like
Not the latter
that.
one.
That would never be done well live action.
No, you couldn't do it.
Not at all.
Unless you literally got rid of the robots.
No, unless you're that, what is it? That one video you and Holden showed me that was like
But
in this guy's garage filmed in front of a green screen. End of Ava.
Retake or something.
No, that was the retake remake by porn actors.
Oh god.
That is, okay, we've answered the question. We have found a live adaptation that is better than the anime.
But in terms of the Ghost in the Shell live action, I have no problem with Scarlett Johansson being the major. I think that's actually, if you're going to cast anyone, I think she is actually a really good choice.
Oh yeah. I don't get really like when she was first announced, people were flipping their shit, going like, "Oh, she's not Japanese." It's like, well,
of course she's
the,
not
the
gonna be
major isn't Japanese.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the major's not that particularly Asian.
yeah. I mean, it's not particularly, apart from it being set, obviously, in Tokyo, there's not anything that's particularly Japanese about the whole setting, about anything. I mean,
No,
it's
not at all.
It's cyberpunk, you know what I mean? It could be set fucking anywhere,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really fucking matter.
And that's kind of the thing. A lot of the characters, like within Section 9, they're not all. There's no way a Japanese actor could play them.
Oh yeah.
Like just how they're physically
can
built.
you
Like I
imagine
can't
it-
see a Japanese guy playing Bakashift.
yeah, that's about
It's
exactly
just-
yeah,
what I
that's
was going
true.
to say. That just wouldn't work.
That's very true.
I don't see it.
I mean, and let's not forget that they are cyborgs, so they could have anybody they really choose to have.
They want.
Yeah,
This is true.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
But in,
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, the amount
Like
of
there
like
are some that I think should still be Asian. Like I don't see any reason why Aramaki can't
Yeah.
be Asian.
But in terms of making a good live action film, what elements do you think that they need to pick out? Because there are plenty of, let's say, just sci-fi action films, and I'm afraid that Ghost in the Shell is just not going to be bad. It's not going to be Dragon Ball Evolution, but it's not going to be it's not going to be anything to write home about. I mean,
I guess for me,
Well, I would think that for Ghost in the Shell, they'd need to find a mix. Like if they tried to literally just make a live-action adaptation of the 95 film, like the original Ghost in the Shell film, that just won't pan over well because
Yeah,
it
not
is
at all.
too.
No, it needs
No,
to take
I
liberty.
think
just
it's
won't-
kind of like the budget they'd need to put into sort of set pieces
Yeah.
and backgrounds and stuff like that, because that's like the setting and and all the detail in the backgrounds and stuff is a huge part of what makes the original Ghost in the Shell film like sort of retain this kind of ambiance and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they'd be able to pull that off.
And also, what my assumption is, with like a big name like Scarlett Johansson attached to it, I genuinely feel like they're going to try and go into a much more action-focused kind of direction with it.
That's not what I want. About. I mean, fair
It's
enough.
not
Yeah,
what
it's
I want.
not
but
what I want
totally
either.
see them. I could totally see them doing it, and I could totally see
What
them.
I
making
wouldn't
it
mind them doing
kind of
is
work.
doing something like more of a live action adaptation, not of like the 95 film, but more of like a truncated version of something from
Standalone Complex,
Complex.
Yeah.
I
if they
wouldn't
did like
want something that's too action heavy. Like if it relies mostly on the action to be the entertainment, then no, I don't want that at all. That's going to be absolutely horrible.
I want the
but-
action to basically not. I want the plot to drive the action and not the other way around. Because I feel like
Exactly.
you know, like with comic book movies, the Marvel things. That's the Marvel phase that we're at the moment. You know, comic book movies are fun, and that's they achieve that, and the action kind of helps with just the popcorn entertainment that Marvel films are. With anime adaptations or live action films, I want anime to be like, I want it to showcase what anime is good for, and we don't watch anime well, I know us five don't watch anime largely just for the popcorn entertainment. I wanted to showcase something
more cerebral.
Yeah, the plots that anime
Yeah.
can showcase, something more similar to something like The Matrix. You know what I mean? That's the closest.
that was actually something I was going to bring up, is that like in regards to the whole action idea of it all, is like the one thing I don't want them to do is be like, oh hey, this is Ghost in the Shell, it helped inspire the Matrix, let's just make Ghost in the Shell be the Matrix. Like
That's
no.
horrible.
No.
Like, I wouldn't mind if Hollywood say, yeah, we're going to do this, and then the Wachowskis are the ones in charge of it. I'd be fine with that, because
that'd be fine.
They wouldn't remake The Matrix. I know that they're not that dumb. But I would worry that if somebody was to take it, they would just remake The Matrix with a Ghost in the Shell.
I can pretty much assume that there is going to be more of an action focus than what we've known out of Ghost in the Shell, because, I mean, Ghost in the Shell has always had action in it, and it's always had great action in it. It's just been peppered and had its moments chosen. But I think for me, sort of an ideal portion of Ghost in the Shell for them to take and put into a Western live-action film would be kind of an abridgment of the Laughing Man story.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean, the Laughing Man story had its moments, but it was what drove it was the plot, and that's what I love about Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the thing, is like, if you look at the Laughing Man, is like the Laughing Man fits. Well, I think The Laughing Man is like one of the best stories of Ghost in the Shell, but
definitely.
I do also know that the individual 11 story from Second Gig is a lot more action focused in a lot more ways. So if they were to try and adapt it, I think individual 11 might work out a little bit better. I prefer Laughing Man because I just like the story a hell of a lot better. But it depends on what they would want to go for, and more than likely they're just going to do their own original thing and not base it off of anything. But
I could see them doing an original
them.
thing that had lots of nods to various storylines, sort of in some strange hybrid, where you can if you watch it as an original fan, you can be like, I understood that.
Yeah. Well, they'd have to do that, because otherwise, if they just made it completely original and only just took names and called it Ghost in the Shell, nobody would watch it thinking, yeah, that's Ghost in the Shell.
Well, I might as well have called
Nobody
it
would think
Goat
that.
in the Shed.
Go in the shed.
Go in the shed.
No, the only thing that I wouldn't want is to be like them to really kind of like tease it in that respect. You know, like, I don't want, just someone passing by a computer and somewhere on the computer is the Laughing Man's logo. Like, that's not the kind of thing I would want to see. That's not a good enough nod.
I think, to be honest, and that would really take away, because everything Ghost in the Shell has always been very deliberate, and a little drop of something like that in there, for pure sake of reference, would really sort of betray what the franchise has done, where every little piece of everything they show on the screen, however small it may be, is always relevant. Even if you can't even if it's not relevant to exactly what's happening in that scene.
Ghost in the Shell has never been one for callbacks either, at least in the anime. Like, I haven't finished watching all of Arise.
How is Arise?
I haven't even started.
I've only seen the first part. I only saw the first part, and I wasn't totally impressed by it, but I was like, there's still a lot more.
I mean, the thing about Rise is when it was announced, I was like, yeah, more Ghost in the Shell. And then I saw clips of it around, and I'm just like, there's nothing that's really drawing me, or no one's really telling me to watch this, so I just haven't. And even if it had a release, was it last season or the season before, like in TV format?
That's the thing. I don't even remember. It's like, I know when it was when the first episode came out, everybody was talking about it because it was like, holy shit, more Ghost in the Shell. But then I don't know when the release dates of any of the other parts are. I don't even know if it's all done.
Nobody's talking about it.
Nobody talks about it.
Nobody says anything about it.
That's probably why IG have bought Fooly Cooly. So
we solved the case, everybody.
Come full circle.
Come on.
Actually, now we've segued back onto that. One thing I did want to ask people is, we're assuming that a Fooly Cooly anime is actually going to come from them. Would people prefer a straight remake, a sequel, or a rebuild?
What in your mind? What's the difference between a remake and a rebuild?
As in like a rebuild of Evangelion.
You know what, Alan?
They sort of do a new story based on the original, but change things.
I've thought about all three, and I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't want any of them.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, do I want a remake? No, the original one is timeless and has aged really, really well. If they remake it, I'm going to hate it. I doubt they can do it any better. Do I want a rebuild? No, I don't think they should. They needed to do anything differently. Because
which is the lesser of three evils?
It would be a rebuild.
I don't think anyone actually wants any of
it. Would be a rebuild. What was the third option that you named?
A sequel.
A sequel. That's just a bad idea waiting to happen. That is...
Yeah.
or alternately, a side story is, I think, potentially the one
side
that
story
could work the most.
I would...
What I
Yeah.
think my mindset would be is that I wouldn't mind a rebuild, but that's under the condition that they get back the original writers and directors from the old one, which isn't entirely impossible because technically IG did help with the original FLCL. Yeah, Gynax ran the show, but IG helped.
The only
They're
good thing
listed
that
as
can come out of this is will the Pillows release a new album? I don't know.
That's another thing, though. Can you imagine if they made more FLCL and the Pillows weren't involved?
I know.
That just wouldn't work.
It just would not work. Like, there's just so much that can go wrong with this. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm just like, why? Why, IG? Why?
I mean, I'm going to remain sort of like completely neutral on it. I'm not going to be like, this is going to be bad, this is going to be great. Like, when it comes out, I'll watch it and I guess I'll wait and see.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, because like the original FLCL is quite short, I think perhaps the most likely thing they could do is literally make like a one core expansion of the original.
The other thing, though, is that if they did do a rebuild, I would hope that it's at least longer than the original series.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to do it, they should at least
If
add
all
something.
they did,
So
can you imagine, right? If what they did is
Yeah.
they get the license, and they just all they do is they release the small amount of episodes we had before as a film without changing anything. And just go,
Oh my
come
god.
see FullCircleAnime in the cinema, pay us some money.
Oh my god.
I know that wouldn't be good, but I wouldn't mind if like they take it, they got the writers and directors and more or less as much as the crew back as they could, and they redid it, but instead of being a 6-episode OVA series, they made it like a full core of like 12, 13
Yeah.
Would Fooly Cooly be good as a full core though? Like, I'm talking about the original. Let's forget production IG.
I don't think the original needed to be any longer or shorter. It kind of like it hit the mark pretty much in terms of like for what it wanted to do. I think if it was twice as long, then it wouldn't have anywhere near as much impact as it did, and it might have gotten annoying.
Exactly. I completely agree.
It was just kind of the perfect balance because they were going zany and everything, and over that short period of time, that they just completely nailed
The
it.
thing is that each 6 episode of Fooly Cooly was so unique to each other that it just felt fresh every episode. And I don't know if they could have dragged that on for a full core or full half season or whatever. A lot of what made Fooly Cooly special already exists, and I don't think that can be remade, rebuilt, or redone any. And this may be me being just pessimistic, gone or whatever, but whatever they decide to do with it, I can't see it having the same impact. Maybe it will for new viewers. I don't know.
Well, I'll find out because I still have to see it.
Yeah.
So we can have the Ken approach, which is just the fresh eyes.
Okay, how about this, Ken? New FLCL ends up being a slice of life comedy in a school.
Oh, I already like it.
FLCL.
So it's about like, are they gonna be like drinking tea at all?
Well,
or?
no, they're going to play music still.
Oh, okay.
She's got to have a Rickenbacker. It's just like it's going to be like K-On! With the Light Music Club, but they all play bass.
Oh.
And so they just make like they make like ambient drone music, you know.
Oh my god.
It's like this is the bass club.
It's funny because Haruka actually does play the bass guitar, doesn't she? She just has a random bass guitar. Ken, Ken, I got to ask you something. Going off topic.
Yeah.
Have you been watching Umaru this season?
No. Have I been watching
Umaru?
Umaru? Yeah, I have the fucking pins. I put them on my hat whenever I go out. You are right.
Oh my
God,
god.
she's like the best little shit ever. It's great.
Oh my god.
She makes me want to puke every time I watch an
It's
episode.
so awesome, isn't
It's
it?
the worst. It's
No.
the worst.
Oh my god.
It is the worst.
Why?
This is where I
Like,
chug
what-
the cola.
Every time I watch an episode, I end up mad.
I die inside a little bit watching Umaru.
No, like I watch it all and I'm just like, you're the best. Stay being shit.
No, she's not.
Just stay being shit. You're awesome.
I haven't even watched it, but I'm like proper curious too because this is like the new big thing. Like
It is,
everyone's forgotten about Hestia and her boob ribbon now, and now Umaru's just fucking everywhere.
Oh my god, I bought the.
Well,
I
for
have the
now,
hoodie
until-
being delivered to my house in like a month.
Oh, you
my
piece of
God.
shit.
I think this year has just been the year of
When
just.
did you even buy that?
This
What?
year has just been the year of shit girls being popular. I mean, fuck knows why Hestia got popular.
I have a figure of her now.
It's not actually hard to see why Hestia.
Yeah,
She
well-
has a large chest and that ribbon that props it
Well,
all
no, but
up.
here's the
because,
thing.
Yeah, Hestia.
Here's the thing, though. Like, it's not really hard to see too that like they're just temporary fads because Hestia, the hype for her pretty much died after the season ended.
Yeah, as soon as the show ended, no
Yeah,
one fucking
it's
gives a
just
shit
done.
anymore.
And
Yeah, it's like she was their god for like that season, but she didn't have the same level of godness as like Haruhi or Mado.
right.
had after
Which
their
is
shows
something
ended.
actually that I wanted to bring up that Cam brought up with me before, is that what it seems like, and when he brought this up to me, it made a lot of sense. What it seems like is a lot of shows that have been airing recently that have gained this sort of large popularity have then teetered off as soon as the show's ended. Like, if you look at a season and think like of a show that everyone is talking about, but then as soon as your season's over, it's sort of forgotten about, and it doesn't seem like a lot of shows coming out these days have the same sort of longevity
Right.
that
Well,
certain
I would-
shows
Here's a question.
from before
I would like to-
have had.
Here's a question: is those shows are generally based off of a manga or a light novel? Are those still continuing, or are they
They
done?
are. I mean, Hestia's dungeon? Yeah, what's the full
Yeah,
name? of that?
dungeon
It's
thing.
okay to pick up girls in a dungeon. That's
Yeah.
still an
Yeah.
ongoing light novel. I would like to say that comparing, like, say, Hestia and Umaru to, say, Madoka and Haruhi or whatever, I would like to bring up my argument that 2 shows are shit and 2 shows aren't shit.
But there's still that boob going on.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing. Like Umaru, the interesting thing about it is that the marketing for the show, like the merchandise and everything, happened way before the show even aired.
show.
Like the Nendroid
Yeah.
appeared 3 months before the show even aired, like for pre-order, which is interesting because I feel like they kind of anticipated it, like that it was
I
going to
mean,
be popular.
I can
And
I
then
can kind of see why, because they both have a unique selling point.
yeah.
Like Umaru being like her shitness or whatever. I don't know how to put into words.
Well,
Umaru's
that's
selling
basically
point.
it.
Anime, she's relatable.
No, but that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cola.
in my honest opinion, though, I mean, if we're gonna compare Umaru and Hestia, I feel like, I mean, looking at it from where we are now, which is we're not really that far off from it airing. I think it might have just finished, right? I think because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
But the thing about Umaru is that because she is more relatable and because the people that watch it are a part of that culture ish.
It's like the
for-
2chan culture. If
Yeah. They're like
But-
I'm inclined to say that it can continue a little more so than like Hestia and Danmachi.
I
as far
think, I
as
guess,
residual
a
effect.
better comparison, I think, is, to me, without having seen the show, Umaru seems like sort of a more viewer-friendly and less utterly detestable version of Dickhead from Watamote.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
basically.
It's like, I don't know why people stick up for her, because she's a horrible person.
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She doesn't really have anything redeemable, but at the same time, you see a bit of yourself in her, and you're like, no.
Because people
Yeah.
are like, oh,
No.
she gets bullied, that's why she's a dickhead. But no, she doesn't get bullied by anyone. She's got lovely people around her the entire show, and she still acts like a complete cock. It's like, stop it.
they're both little sisters.
That's kind of the thing, though.
Well,
Like,
they don't.
she was missing that one element, is that nobody really cared about her. It's not like she got bullied or anything. It's like, no, people almost assumed she didn't exist.
Yeah.
That was like where she was.
Like I think that Umaru there's so many things that people can just latch onto. I mean, like she's what everyone wants to be that likes her. So like she's perfect and she can do whatever she wants, like read all this manga and get someone to feed her and be perfect all at the same time. And like that's something that like a lot of people want to be, but is like completely impossible, to the point where like they take so many liberties that make almost no sense, but you just go with it.
I hate her so much.
But
So
the-
much.
Yeah, she's like a middle-aged otaku redneck stuck in a.
Actually, no, that's a very good way to put it. She is basically an otaku redneck.
That's basically it. Just stuck in a 15-year-old girl body or whatever. That's basically
Oh my
Umaru.
god.
And that can be said for a lot
Yeah.
of these like otaku characters that have surged in popularity.
Case in point again, like No Game No Life.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about that
Uh-huh.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some people do. There was a little bit of a Western boom again when it was coming out on DVD.
Right, and
I
there's
noticed.
also
Oh.
some popularity for the novels too.
I would
think.
like to have No Game No Life get a second season, along
Yeah.
with Overlord, which is just ending. I don't know if anyone's watching that, but it's just Madhouse's trend of just adapting one season of something and just going, nah, I'm not going to do another
All right,
season.
next one.
I wouldn't mind seeing more Batum.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
anybody
that
More
makes sense.
Batum. I wouldn't mind seeing more High School of the Dead. You know, that was entertaining. But it's just if Madhouse adapts something and it's not finished, then they just never.
That's what
jump
makes me
up.
fucking terrified about One Punch Man. Because if they end that at a season and don't make any more, I'm gonna be like, you bellends.
Oh.
That's how-
You know that's what's probably going to happen.
Of course it is, and it's because they don't want money.
It's like it's like the same thing with like PA Works, because like I've been liking so much that they've been dishing out recently, like especially Shirobako. Shirobako is like quite possibly like my favorite thing in the past like couple of months, possibly like in a
Yeah.
while.
It's well good, mate.
Yeah, God, and
wicked,
like
man.
we're not gonna get a second season of that at least for another 2 years, if at all.
Yeah.
So
Well, I feel like PA Works. Okay, I noticed a trend where PA Works makes a really good show and then makes a really shit show. So they started off with Nagano Asakara, and then they did Glass Slip, which was shit, and then they did fucking Shirobako, which was great, and then they just finished Charlotte,
Charlotte.
which was
I still haven't gone far into it. I'm like 3 episodes in.
are you 3 episodes in? Oh,
At least PA Works has like given a semi-official announcement as to why there's probably not going to be another Shirobako
Well,
season.
yeah,
And that's
the
because
director-
the director is like
Booked.
booked for the next
Yeah.
like 3 or 4
Yeah,
years.
so it's not. It could happen. Just it'll be a while.
well, Connor, have you been watching Charlotte?
I haven't, but I find it interesting because like rewind a season ago and I'm looking through AniChart and everything
Yeah.
like that, and I see Charlotte and I'm just like, okay, this looks like okay-ish. Like I may watch it, I may not, and I haven't, and I still haven't, and so that's why I'm now like laughing at all these people just being like, yo, that was shit.
It was like Jun Maeda said he learned from Angel Beats with Angel Beats' pacing problem. So what he does,
Wait, hold on. Wait. He learned from. Wasn't Angel Beats truncated after the fact?
Yep.
So wait.
Yes,
He
it
didn't
was.
have to learn anything. He probably was doing the right thing, but just by circumstance he failed.
so with Charlotte, he wrote a show which is probably the worst paced show I have ever fucking seen. Because you've seen the first 3 episodes, right, Ken? They're pretty like a good, like, you know, they're a fun,
It's a club.
light-hearted.
Yeah, they're
it's
doing
like,
things.
It's like a club. Then
I'm wondering if we could start an interesting argument of what's the worst paced show we've ever seen now that Garen's thrown
okay,
that
well,
out.
my vote goes to Charlotte. But the first 5 episodes are basically like, you know, the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, just with different fucking characters.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
of-
I know where this is going too, because I saw my Twitter timeline. Like everyone was like, "Wait, Jumaedo, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's fucking Key. What do you think?"
What do you expect was gonna
I
happen?
think he's just gone right. I've made Little Buster's Refrain. I've made the best show ever. I can just give up now.
Little Bus's refrain was really good.
Yep, it's fucking amazing.
Oh my god! And then
Little
this.
Buster's Refrain is one of those shows that I have like in my backlog, and it's purposefully staying there because I know that I'll love it,
Yeah.
but I don't want to watch it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one.
It's so good.
But without spoiling anything about Charlotte, since no one here's seen it, oh my god, does it go downhill? It tries to do so much, and it's just
Dude, I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck.
It
I don't think
tried
I'm
so
ever
hard.
gonna watch it.
And got so far, but in the end,
In the end,
it didn't
Doesn't
even matter.
In the end, it was not Paramount.
No.
I mean, the entire second half was not Paramount at all. But so, in terms of worst paced shows you've ever seen, because in the anime community, or at least the reviewing community, we all love the word pacing here. I mean, can we just put our hands up for the word pacing?
I think the word just rubs me the wrong way. Because, like, whenever anyone comments on any of one of my videos, the thing they always talk about is pacing, and it's just like...
I should start talking about
stop it.
pacing in my figure spotlights.
Yeah.
I think it started
Pacing
ever
is
since
figures legs.
Attack on Titan aired, and then after Attack on Titan aired, everyone just loves using the word pacing.
They just discovered the word.
Pacing.
But in terms
Pacing and objective.
no,
that
oh
other
my
one I
god,
hate even
the word
more.
objective has been so overused that it's become a parody of its own.
The
whenever
only-
In my objective opinion.
Yeah.
The only thing that objectivity applies to is technical aspects.
Yep.
And that's that. Other than that, you should not be using that word
Yes.
at all.
which is why everyone uses it ironically now because.
Ironically.
Pretty much.
But in terms of worst paced shows, what are your guys' opinion on the worst paced shows? Because mine definitely goes to Charlotte's.
I don't even.
I mean, you brought up Attack on Titan, and that's like the one that sort of springs to mind immediately.
Yeah.
Has anybody watched Gunslinger Girl?
Yes.
I have.
Oh, no, I haven't.
That's probably where my vote goes at the moment.
But that's got Beethoven
Just, just off the top of my head, probably like Air, maybe?
Air. I don't really.
I don't think Air was badly paced. It was
in it.
just
It was just
boring.
balls.
Are we talking about bad pacing or just slow pacing? Because
Because I don't actually consider slow to be bad.
Yeah,
Well,
I can,
yeah.
where
It depends on
I
the show.
see pacing to be bad is when it's like inconsistent and all over the place
Yeah.
and just doesn't really
or
fit.
just doesn't match what the show's going for.
Yeah, like if a
No,
show
like-
is slow throughout, but it's slow and meaningful, I've got no issue with that.
Oh, Mushushi has shit pacing. Fucking
Yeah, man. But yeah, I don't consider slow to be bad. I
She doesn't
consider
really have any pacing at
inconsistency.
all.
Yeah,
Because
No,
it's not a
that's-
continual storyline.
because I mean,
No, yeah, that my mindset for Air was that, like, you know, you're going like slice of life with like this darkness on the horizon that's gonna come and hit you in the face, but then it just like goes to feudal Japan and it's just like,
What?
yo, what the fuck?
Air's a weird one.
So
Oh,
Yeah,
Air.
I think the reason I bring up Attack on Titan, even though it's certainly not the worst paced show I've seen, it's just that it's the one
no.
that's most shrewdly observable.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it launches out of the gates like a fucking horse with a hot poker up its arse.
And then
it's
after
just
the
like,
first 3
"Oh,
episodes,
yes!"
it-
and then like it just goes into the moving the rock arc, which just lasts forever. And it's like, well, this is boring.
And then finally, when that's over, it's just like, okay, let's go out into the forest.
Let's go on a mission for about an hour and come back
10 episodes later.
half the season later. And it's just like, oh, no, over now. It's like, oh, brilliant.
Well, what about?
And that's a show I enjoy.
I'm gonna bring up another one since I mentioned it earlier. Is Angel Beats. That's,
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Well, that was by circumstance too. So like, it's a shame. I mean, it could have been. It probably could have been like a way better show, but.
Yeah.
Then it got cut
Yeah.
in half.
And now
So
we
it's
have
like
to
suddenly,
wait for a visual
oh, shit.
novel release here forever.
Yeah, so you can actually go down the Tenchi route, and it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think
Yep.
we're gonna get a release here. We just gotta wait for a fan
Yeah,
translation, like
yeah.
every other key thing ever.
True.
Do you reckon there'll be an Angel Beats anime adaptation?
Like the new one, like they'll remake it, but based
Yeah.
on the visual novel.
I was really
They might.
hoping that they would at least, give us that much, but they announced Charlotte instead.
And for and Europe they can win this time, right, guys? Right, guys? Yeah.
No. Whatever, man.
her.
You guys.
And it'll be and TK will be the protagonist.
Yeah.
And
No,
it'll be
that'll
amazing.
go for it.
Whatever, you guys. I'm just gonna go the Iwasawa route. I'm all
Yeah,
good.
she's still gonna die. Still gonna, or rather, disappear.
Spoiler alert: everyone dies.
Everyone's
Spoiler alert, they're already dead.
Exactly.
They all got dealt with by Kenshiro before the show started.
They're already dead. Shyamalan and Alain plot twist.
Wait, did someone say
bad.
TK route? I thought I heard someone say
Yeah.
TK route. Yeah.
Talking about adapting visual novels, I've been marathoning Fate Stay Night.
Yeah.
I'm eating, by the way, because I'm pretty hungry right now. But
Nice. Yeah, I noticed.
You're just like, oh, I'm chewing on Fate Stay Night.
Yeah.
This is,
Oh.
it's filling my palate with uncertainty.
Now I've been marathoning Fate Stay Night, and
Okay.
it's been disappointing. I am not gonna lie about that. Has anyone else here watched the new Fate Stay
Yeah,
Night?
man,
Not
me and
yet.
Connor did an
I
episode
am
of Hoko on
holding
it.
off on the new
Yep.
Unlimited Blade Works because I am halfway through the visual novel and I want to finish it first.
Okay.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As
So I got through the Fate route. I'm somewhere in the middle of the UBW route, and then I gotta do the Heaven's Feel route, and then I'll be good.
Right.
Have fun with that.
Oh yeah.
I'll see you next century.
Pretty much.
But one thing that I guess has been disappointing is just how different it's been from Fate Zero. Because I expected it going into it wanting it to be a sequel to Fate Zero.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
That's not what I wanted, but that's
No.
what I went into.
It's basically for completely different people.
It is.
It is.
I mean, the two franchises are the same franchises, but technically the same franchise, but they are so fucking different.
They're worlds apart. They're aimed at an entirely different demographic.
Exactly.
You are if basically I put it like this: if you're someone that really really doesn't like Dean Fate Stay Night, then you probably won't like Unlimited Blade Works either.
Yeah. I mean,
Straight up.
Granted, you should have already known that with Dean's version of Unlimited Blade Works, which I actually have. I bought it.
That's kind of a different story though, because that's a case of like we've got 2 hours to put the Holy Grail War in.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not really gonna
but
work.
the one thing I don't like about
have they said what they're doing with Heaven's Feel yet? 'Cause
They
said
said
were
one
doing a
film.
they said one
which isn't
film,
gonna
but then they
work.
said one film.
No, but then there were some people saying that they were going to do like a Garden of Sinners multi-film thing with it.
In
instead
order
of
for Heaven's
doing a
Feel to
show.
fit in films, it needs to be like 8 of them, and they need to be like 7 hours long each. Heaven's Feel has so much in it; it's unreal.
It really
it's
does.
like twice as long as Unlimited Blade.
Well,
Works.
You're not
just talking about
exaggerating
the
that
anime
much.
for now. I will go back to the visual. What I don't like about the anime, or at least the plot, is they seem to be a lot of filler fights, and it's just. I remember at the beginning I got pissed off because there are so many times when there are two people fighting, and then they're like, you know what, we could continue this fight, or I could kill you right now, but I got better things to do. I'm feeling lazy. BRB later in a few episodes, and that just really pissed me off because they have no.
Well, that's kind of what actually happens in the visual novel.
Yeah.
Like
As they
I'm
say.
guessing that the show actually spends more time in the fight, unlike the visual novel where it's like over in a couple of paragraphs. But yeah, I'm not surprised at that at all.
Well, this is also like interesting to me because this is the one kind of viewpoint I wanted to have as someone who's watched Fate Zero but has not played the visual novel. So this is
you watch
really
the
interesting
Dean
for me
adaptation?
here.
Yeah, but to be honest, I knew from the start, like, but even before it came out, that this isn't for Fate Zero fans at all.
No.
I don't think this is even for original Fate Stay Night fans because you're getting spoilers from having seen that for this one. It's
Yeah,
honestly,
that's kind of the
it's-
thing, because Fate Zero starts off in episode, well, I don't know if you call it episode 0 or episode 1, the big, long 40-minute episode.
Yeah.
And it spoils all the major plot things in Fate Stay Night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least for the Fate and some of the Unlimited Blade Works routes, anyway. It's like, it just says it straight out as fact, and everybody's like, oh, shit, crap. So, like, if you start with Fate Zero, you know all of that, and then none of that's really a surprise when it happens in UBW, because you're just like, I already knew this. Why are you building up this to be a big thing?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, Unlimited Blade Works as an adaptation just sits in a weird position where there is no perfect target audience for it.
There isn't.
If you're a Dean Fate Stay Night fan, it's not perfect for you. If you're a Fate Zero fan, it's probably about the worst thing you could look to be watching. If you're a visual novel fan, you're just not going to be happy with it.
You are not going to be. I have not seen a single visual novel reader that has been happy with a Fate adaptation.
I mean, I'm honestly happy with it. I understand why it is the way it is, and I enjoyed it for what it was.
Right.
Because, I mean, the visual novel is like, it's fucking dialogue heavy. It's like 17 books.
Well, not
Just, like,
only
on the
that, but
screen.
I don't think it is possible to make a good adaptation of Fate Stay Night, because they'll always want to divide it or pick a route. But really, it's all of them.
Yeah,
You
because
need
this is,
all
this,
of them.
This is something we brought up heavily in Okko, is that there's a lot of stuff in Unlimited Blade Works that they don't tell you because you are told in the Fate scenario.
Yeah.
And in order to put all of that information into Unlimited Blade Works, you'd need to just sort of pad it out to the point where the story doesn't work. When
Yeah.
there's just, which is why like the first episode of everything in any Fate adaptation is just like words, like, you know, the scenes with Katomine in the church where he's just explaining stuff to you.
Like, really, what they would need to do is that if they were going to fully adapt Fate Stay Night as a show, they would need to say straight out, by the way, this is going to be 4 or 5 seasons long from the get-go. And each season covers a different route.
They would
with
need
like
to do it
Heaven's
like
Feel
that.
getting
Okay.
2 because it's so freaking
Okay,
long.
as a non-visual novel reader, obviously, I have to ask: even if it did have, like, let's say it had unlimited budgets, unlimited restraints,
Unlimited budget works.
unlimited
No
budget,
CGI skeletons this time, yay.
unlimited restraints, it could just be a pure adaptation of the visual novel.
Yeah.
Would it be a good show?
No.
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 Because I hear about
Because then people would wonder why is the hentai not
There are just basically there are segments in Fate Stay Night that are just far too dialogue heavy to work as a conversation in anime, because you're just sitting there reading backstory at certain points, which is fun and interesting and enjoyable because you can sort of do it at your own pace when you're reading a novel. You can just take a break or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you try and put those important conversations and like backstory dialogue pieces into the anime, you're left with like a 3-episode freaking flashback that just sort of completely takes away from the action.
Yeah.
What they would almost need to have to do is they would almost, like, when you adapt it, you don't try to be faithful, but you don't make it horrible. So it's like you'd actually have to go to them and be like, okay, we need you to rewrite Fate Stay Night in a more smaller and concise context.
And
I
once
don't know if it would actually be possible.
But once again, that's going to leave you with something that visual novel readers aren't going to like, because they're going to be like, "You butch,
you missed all this."
Like the amount of people that get really fucking pissed off with Fate Scenario for putting little pieces of other routes in it. It's like, just let them. All right.
Yeah.
Let us actually see the fight with Berserker and Archer. It's fine. Like, I know that happened off screen before, but we can watch it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because it didn't actually change anything, and that was
No, it
kind of
didn't
the thing.
change
Like
anything.
the Dean Fate scenario, there are things that I didn't like that it added in. Like, I didn't mind that the whole Archer Berserker fight was in there. I did not mind that
was
at all.
cool.
I was,
Oh, that
I
was
was
great.
like, that's totally fine. And then some of the things with Early Rider were totally ripped from UVW as well, and I was like, yeah, no, that's fine, because it actually helped pad out the show a bit. Because Fate is actually pretty quick.
Yeah, and
all
I still
things
consider
considered.
it to be a faithful adaptation. It just adds bits, and I'm fine with that.
It just adds bits. Like, I'm not too happy with the whole caster route. But I understand why they
that
did
was
that,
definitely
because
the
the caster
weakest
route
part
doesn't
of it.
exist in Fate. The caster route doesn't exist in Fate. It's so ridiculously dumb.
Getting back to what Garn says, the one thing I think about when he's saying, like, it can be as long as it wants to be, blah, 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 what goes to my mind, not to bring other live action things into this, is Game of Thrones, where recently I had gotten caught up to that, and it's like, it's so fucking long and there's so much shit going on, and I'm just like, wow, I'm getting to a point where I just don't give a fuck.
Don't give a care anymore. Yeah.
And that would happen too in Fate Stay Night. It would be like, okay, now we have to talk about this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yo, I don't give a fuck. I just want to know who Archer is. Can we just can we get to
that's kind
that?
of the thing. Like, if they were going to do that, they need to have a set end. Game of Thrones doesn't have a set end because Martin hasn't written it yet, and that's not his writing style, and that works for him with his books. But it does have that problem that you mentioned, with the live action.
The thing is, as it is now, there's already enough, if not almost too much exposition, as it is for a TV series, for a visual TV series. And I still feel like I'm missing so much fucking info to know everything, and I am. I can feel it. And that just makes me think, can there ever be a good adaptation of Fate Stay Night? Fate Zero is different because that's just one spin-off book.
I'd almost say, and I haven't seen UBW yet, and I don't know what they're doing with Heaven's Feel, but I would almost say that by the end of it, we might not be saying you can't pick an individual adaptation and say that this is the definitive adaptation. You'd actually have to say, no, you have to watch all of them.
Pretty much.
Because, like, the Dean is as close to Fate only as you're going to get. UBW is, well, I haven't seen it, but as far as I can tell, it's more or less just
pretty
UBW.
close, to be honest.
And then it depends on what they do with Heaven's Feel. So you almost have to say, you have to watch all of them.
Yeah, I mean,
for better or for worse, you have to watch all of them.
and people aren't going to like that. I mean,
No, they won't.
I mean, I remember we having this discussion on PodTaku on what can we recommend people after Fate Zero, and now
And the original Dean adaptation was not included in that list.
yeah, and then we were like, oh, we got UBW, that's coming out, that's gonna be, and now we're here saying, well, we can't really do that either because I am not.
And again, I haven't seen UBW. I'm going to be watching UBW in a couple of weeks, and we still need to figure out what they're doing with Heaven's Field. But yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, for what it looks like, audience, and feel free to discuss, is there can never be a good adaptation of Fate.
It's
But you
just
should
too
watch it anyway
too damn
because
big.
it's got cool action in it and it's fun.
It's just too damn big.
Just
Oh,
watch
yeah.
Fate Zero, be satisfied with that, and go to Fate Stay Night wanting some cool action because it looks really fucking good. It looks amazing. But everything else is a bit unfortunately.
Is a bit.
I wouldn't go that far. I still really did enjoy it, but it's definitely.
I mean,
Yeah, like I still have a soft spot for the Dean adaptation.
I think it's because of my position as a fan.
'Cause-
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I don't hate it at all.
I know, I
It's-
just-
it's
Like, I
it's
understand
got a
its
special
flaws.
place in my heart because of how early I watched it on.
I still
Yeah,
would like
same.
it. I still actually, funny enough, I enjoyed the Dean adaptation more as a kid than I am the UBW
Oh, of course.
adaptation.
Of course, so
as an
did I.
adult, you know, and that's
Absolutely.
that's the thing, and I guess that's the way it's going to stay.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But I think that's a good place to end the podcast. We've been recording for just over an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good having you back on, Tristan and Ken. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Even though Ken was like, "You're not talking about Moe right now. What's fate?"
What's
He had his Umaru. He had his chance.
He had his moment to shine in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will have
And
Next
I was
time
quiet
again.
for most of that, and I started talking up more in Fate.
It's all right. It's all right, Ken. We'll talk about Fate Kaleid Ilialina.
Oh
Oh my god.
And that's up your alley.
it is. I haven't seen.
Also known as Fate's Lolly Bathtub.
No.
Also,
Oh,
Ken,
man.
Ken,
We'll talk,
Unlimited
if we talk,
Steam
no,
works.
wait. To be fair, if we're gonna do anything talking about the Ilia spin-off, we have to talk about Carnival Phantasm at some point.
Yeah, Carnival of
True.
Phantasm's like my favorite thing out of the franchise. I swear to
I
God.
only know the opening, and I've seen it. I've probably seen it enough times to just have watched the show already.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good.
Gotta
It's so
do,
good. I love
I
it.
gotta do the dance, man.
I still think that we should have at least one last Carnival Phantasm episode where it's like half of it is animated by Ufotable.
They just do like cutout sections.
Yeah.
No,
That's kind of
it's-
the other thing, though. It's we were done talking about it, but they don't have any of the Tiger Corner bits in any of the adaptations. And Tiger Corner is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry. It's like, hi, welcome to Tiger Corner. You just died, so we're gonna tell you where you screwed up.
They should make it as like a choose your own adventure anime where you like go
Oh
to
my
this
God.
episode next or this episode.
That would be cool. I want to watch a
Damn.
show like that.
And then you go to the Tiger Corner.
like really bad.
That would
it will be
It'd
like
have to be like a fully animated visual novel.
it'll be like school days.
Damn it, you took my joke.
I hate you guys.
Oh god, can you imagine if Tiger Corner was in school days? You are dead. You are on a boat now. Don't lose your head.
Narrated by T-Pain.
Don't lose your head.
Okay, wait. Let's end this podcast before we go out of control.
Holy fuck.
Tristan, do you want to do the honors of the outro?
I can't even remember how the outro works.
that-
What did we say?
That's well, just
You say stay frosty and then you go.
Okay.
Snap.
Stay frosty, everyone.
Snap.
and you're
Snap.
supposed to like say who's on the podcast. Tristan.
Oh, right. And then there's also Ken.
Hi. Bye. I'm Ken.
and there's also Connor over there.
Greetings, farewell.
And we have this Alain person.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. This is a podcast.
And then there's Garn.
I've been Gigguk from the Anime Zone, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm the only one who remembers my outro, everyone.
never had
This is
an
how it's
outro.
done, guys. This is how it's done. The ending is paramount.
Oh
See
my
you all
god.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
This
Bea.
is-
Bye.
This will go down in history as just the worst intro and outro for podcast.
You're welcome.
Well, no, because Jimmy's not here.